This episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Casper. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the cost, directly to the consumer. Casper combines two technologies, we're talking about the springy latex foam and supportive memory foam, to create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink and just the right bounce. Let me tell you what, Kevin. Recently, Curran, my best friend, he needed a mattress. And I said, you should go to Casper.com and use the code Kind of Funny. You can get one. He did that. It was easy to order. Next thing you know, he's sleeping well. He's having good night sleeps. You could do that too. Get a Casper mattress for $500 for a twin or $950 for a king-size mattress. Comparing this industry averages, that's an outstanding price point. And you can save $50 towards a mattress purchase when you go to Casper.com/Gamecast and entering promo code GAMECAST. So there's no S in there, just GAMECAST. Terms and conditions apply. Free shipping and returns to US and Canada. I want to hear all about the fun that you're having on your new Casper mattress. Anyways, that's Casper.com/Gamecast using promo code GAMECAST. Ladies and gentlemen, topic 4, as always, brought to you, you beautiful bastards. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic and leave a topic just like your boy Maximum Cortez did.
Oh, Andy from Rooster Teeth, who made the intro to the Kind of Funny Gamescast, along with Grandma's Legend.
He did the art there.
No.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
and again, shout out to the art in the back by Orioto. Go check him out. Andy Cortez, he actually tweeted this one. He said, I haven't publicly said this, but I can no longer stay silent. I'm very worried about Mass Effect Andromeda.
Why?
So I think this is a good question. Should we be worried about Mass Effect Andromeda?
No. I think that they probably wanted to have it out this year, but I also think maybe even earlier. But I think that they've been really cagey and weird about it to a smart degree, where they were like, we never really showed you anything, and we never really dedicated ourselves to a date. So it's your own expectations.
Y'all read into us coming out at E3 and showing concept art and talking about the fact that we were making this and we're going to show you new aliens.
Which was a mistake, right? But I think based on the original timeline of what they wanted to get the game out, I'm not concerned about it at all. I bet you Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be awesome.
I agree.
What about the original Mass Effect trilogy lets you indicate that you have anything to worry about with this game? I mean, maybe you didn't like the ending or whatever, but I'm so stoked about Andromeda.
Not liking the ending, I think gives that they definitely got that message loud and clear. So I mean, they're going to come at this one in a way that I think is going to. All right, your choices. That's the marketing push when they get there, right? New world, new aliens, and your choices mean more than ever, and they will carry on through this trilogy or whatever they want to call this thing. This is going to be all the things we've learned from Mass Effect and Dragon Age put into one game. We're giving you the best RPG we can.
Yeah, I've heard people say this, but I'm not concerned about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people say it because we've seen 2 E3s where it's discussed or shown in some fashion, and it's the bad sign of the first one has more to show than the second one. So I think that's where a lot of it's coming from.
Sure.
Where do you guys see more information for this coming out? Because they did say E3.
Yeah, I think you'll get a date at E3.
Didn't at E3 this year they say something about more information?
Yeah, later this year.
But
I think it's probably a fall 2017 game, and so you'd assume that
you drop a teaser trailer at Game Awards come December, and then you go out from there.
I always forget about the Game Awards.
Can't forget about the Game Awards.
Come with the
what up, Jeff Keighley? Trending Gamer of the Year
Take
2016.
your time.
We'll see.
That's a game that's it's not gotten to the level of anywhere near being absurd.
So in a completely unprecedented move, Andy Cortez just texted me, and he says, I'm worried about the studio turmoil.
I don't know much about what's going on. What, at BioWare Edmonton? Or no, Montreal's making it, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
What, because people left?
Because Casey left? I'm going to call Andy Cortez.
Casey left a while
ago.
I know, exactly. Andy Cortez, you know all about studio turmoil, because I hear you're starting shit at Rooster Teeth left and right. That's right. I heard him and Barb don't like each other. Just something I heard. Everybody tweet it. Put it on the Rooster Teeth Reddit. Tweet it at Bernie. Way to blow it, Andy. I hate this game.
Andy, my dude, you were live on the Kind of Funny Gamescast. I want you to talk to Colin and Greg. What are your worries with Mass Effect Andromeda?
Okay, yeah. So Aaron Flynn, who I guess runs whatever studio it is there that's doing Mass Effect, they've mentioned that there's been like that it hasn't necessarily been the easiest process. And I know that it kind of reminded me of what was going on with Uncharted 4. Obviously, that didn't matter because that game was fucking awesome, but there's just been a lot of people in and out, sort of coming and going, and Aaron Flynn kind of said, yeah, it hasn't been easy, but we're sort of roughing through it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It sounds to me like maybe a smart thing to say to kind of explain, like, well, it's hard to make a game, and we know you want it, and it's not easy, and we're working the best we can.
See, Andy, they're making real games over there, unlike the stuff you make at Rooster Teeth. So they have a lot of problems they have to go through and things. They have expectations. People care about it. You know how it goes.
Straight up hung up. I love you, Andy. I love you so much.
I once shared a cab with Aaron Flynn, and
how did that happen?
Super interesting dude. I don't know where I was. Where was I?
Vegas.
Yes, I think so. I think that's exactly where I was.
Morton Steakhouse in Vegas.
Yes. How do you know that?
I don't. These are guesses. These are legitimate guesses.
No, it wasn't Morton Steakhouse. I was out at dinner in Vegas.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't go to Morton Steakhouse in Vegas. Maybe in LA. I would go to Morton Steakhouse.
Why wouldn't you go to Morton's in Vegas?
There's better steakhouses in Vegas.
There's better steakhouses in
San Diego
LA.
has the good steakhouse. Like
There's good steakhouse everywhere. Gaucho's up in Seattle. Whatever.
Gaucho?
But I shared a cab with him, and he's a super interesting. Like, we talked for a long time.
Were you at dinner with him?
No. I had run into him at somewhere at some point, and we just got to talking.
You sure you're not thinking about Eric Hart from IGN?
I'm positive. We shared a cab, and this was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Super interesting, super friendly dude. I believe in BioWare, and different leadership now. In some respect, with Casey Hudson being gone, and different team, different studio. I think working on it. I don't think Edmonton is working on it at all. So I believe in it until otherwise. Like I think you'll get. I thought the game would be out this year, but it's clearly not. So I think that next year is like almost a guarantee.
So speaking of Mass Effect, this reminded me of a journey I once went on. And I've never told this story on the show. Oh my God. So I'm going to tell it right now.
Okay.
Colin, do you know my history with the Mass Effect franchise? It goes a little something like this. A game called Mass Effect 3 was coming out, and it was weeks away from release. So they were like, you know what we're going to do? We need some promotion for this. So we're going to send some copies of this motherfucker to space, because that's thematically relevant.
I remember this.
So they attached copies of Mass Effect 3 to weather balloons and sent them up.
I remember this, and you had to go and you were sent to find one.
So my thing was, I heard they were doing this, and I heard one was happening in San Francisco, and I was like, called him Kevin. I was like, Kevin, big dog Kev.
Kevin, what do you know?
He was
about
a little
wind?
dog back then.
What do you know about wind? Was the quote that I said. He was like, I know a fair amount about wind. And I was like, okay,
He
good.
blows it out his ass.
And I was
all
like,
the
what do you
time.
know about weather balloons? And if one was launched in SF, could we find it and track it? And he's just like, I think we could find a way. And I was like, I love you, Kevin. We're doing this thing. So, of course, I hit up my boy Alfredo. I'm like, yo, we're in this. However, I was interning at the time at IGN. Alfredo, not related to IGN at all. He just hung out all the time, and everyone thought he worked there, which is the best-kept secret of IGN. Alfredo didn't actually work there for a long time. So, we're there, and we ask our manager for permission to go, that manager being Nick Scarpino. And I'm like, so, Mr. Nick, I would like to go chase down some space treasure. Is that cool? And he's like, yeah, you and Alfredo can do it. Just don't hurt yourselves. I'm like, all right, great. So Kevin, me and Alfredo strap ourselves with GoPros. And we're like, we're doing this shit. And we hunt this damn game down. And we went on a crazy adventure that's all documented on IGN.com. You can find the video if you search for Mass Effect Space Hunt.
Weren't you competing against Destin Legary too?
Well, it wasn't so much competing as much as so we're driving, and we went to the launch, which was near Baker's Beach, right? And the thing goes up, and then we can find this the GPS tracking system. So Kevin's back there. This was a couple years ago, so it's not like you have the LTE and all this. So we're going through disasters intermittently. A lot of signals are coming through, and we're like hunting this thing down. And it's like we knew where it was going, we knew the trajectory, and Kevin knows all about wind. So we knew the direction we were going. All right, we're heading towards Santa Cruz. So we start driving to Santa Cruz, and I'm in my 1994 Toyota Corolla. And let me tell you what, Greg, that car, seen some shit. And this day, no different. It was going straight through the shit fields, and I was like, we're going fucking hard. We are ride or dying on this bitch, and we were probably going to die.
Yeah.
So we're cruising through, having our good old times, doing all our update blogs and stuff over on IGN. Then all of a sudden, it turns into a one-laner because we're going through the Santa Cruz mountains.
Sure.
Someone makes a turn, and I see him do a U-turn. I was like, oh, fuck, we need to make a U-turn too. So I do a U-turn. Then I notice the car behind me does a U-turn, and the car behind that, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit. every single car in this lane is chasing
This is
goddamn
Cannonball Run.
weather balloon. Then all of a sudden, it turns into that shit. We all realize it, and then it's like all of a sudden this game turns us into animals, and we're all driving on the wrong side of the street. I literally off-roaded in my 1994 Toyota Corolla, which was that was the death of that car, by the way. That was the final straw that thing had. We're going off-road through the fucking trees and bushes and shit. We end up trying to find it, and it ends up in a tree, and ends up on someone's private property. There's fucking coyotes around, mountain lions and shit. Some dude's like, get the fuck off my property, and there's all these guys, and I'll never forget the reason I bring up this story. We spent an entire day with this guy that ran PR for Mass Effect, and he quit shortly after. I've never seen someone more stressed and upset, and like he just immediately was like, this was the dumbest idea of all fucking time.
How far out of from launch was this?
It was a week before the game came
Okay,
out.
that's interesting because I think I had the game like 3 weeks before it came out. So why were you guys even doing this? You could have just had
Content.
my copy.
It was fun. Well, no,
they
there
didn't
was
care about the
there was-
game, I'm
There was
sure.
a huge... Oh, we didn't give a fuck. There was a huge update, and like the IGN, there was like a live blog update following our whole thing until one point. We were at a point there was no reception, so there's just no more updates. So Eric Hart from IGN was really worried because he thought we were like dead.
Yeah.
Because me, Alfredo, and Kevin at the time, he didn't even know. We're just out there in the wilderness, man. It was some bad times, just some scary shit. Anyway, Destin goes in the middle of the night and finds it because he could see the blip of the light when it was dark.
Yeah.
We were about to hang out there with the mountain lions. I don't fuck with the mountain lions.
You don't fuck with mountain
And
lions.
I went home. But there was a whole thing. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget being that PR guy and then him quitting and then me seeing him at E3 later and him just being like, I can't believe that happened, but we did it together. And I'm like, yeah, we did. I'm upset we didn't get it, though.
Yeah, you failed.
We do. To this day, I have the walkie-talkie that the guy threw down and broke because he was like, fuck this.
The PR guy?
I was like, I'm getting some treasure from this. Yeah.
Two things
Oh,
I
two
want to
things.
add. One, first time I ever was a cameraman.
Yeah.
The footage, unusable.
It was unusable.
Not much has changed.
All right, moving forward from this, we got one from our boy Jake James Lugo. He says, I want to hear about games that helped everyone out through a very rough time in life, something that got us back on our feet. The only thing I can think about is Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, where I was really sick, and that game helped me not think I was going to die because I was throwing up constantly, and I was like, fuck, this really sucks. But I loved that game so much that it distracted me from my projectile vomiting.
I don't know that I even have an answer to that question. I mean, I have a hard time focusing on games when I'm upset, actually. So I don't really play. I don't play games when I'm like in a bad place. That's just me, though.
I mean, I've written about it. It's one of my most famous IGN articles, right, of playing through the pain. And it was about Infamous when I got super into Infamous when I was going through my divorce. But that's played out. I've said that a million times. I always go back to, I mean, this isn't like a rough time or whatever, but I remember when we were moving houses for the first time, trying to sell our original house, how into Road Rash on Genesis I was. I played the fuck out of Road Rash. I was all excited to come home and play Road Rash, right? It's one of those like memories, you know, hey, like those seminal memories of like weird things that you don't think you should remember, but you remember. And I remember, you know, coming into the house after an open house and like the windows were open and it was like, but it was spring. They shouldn't have been open. So it was like just a little too cold. And sitting there playing Road Rash was great. Bring back Road Rash.
Geek Post says, are there any modern video game characters that can reach mascot status, such as Mario or Link? It's
mean,
hard.
like-
It's a different time now.
Yeah, but I mean, Nathan Drake's, you know, was and for the long time the mascot of PlayStation. Right? They
he's
tried to make
he's
Sackboy a
not,
thing.
though. I
He
think-
is though.
But he's not.
He
Like,
is though. But he is though.
him just being the one thing that's like a recognizable face for the brand doesn't make him the mascot. I think that like the Nathan Drake is in great games, and Uncharted are definitely like the flagship titles for PlayStation, but he's not a mascot.
But I mean, he kind of was. Like, I mean, they do use cosplayers. He was in the Subway commercials. He was in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I mean, like, not granted, a million people were. But that was the thing. Like, they did seem like they were pushing that for a while. And Sackboy was something they definitely were pushing, where I think it was you talking about, like, where your sister's a teacher, and she would talk about how kids are super into Sackboy, even though they don't fucking play the game.
Yeah, well, people were like, yeah, for a while, she was like, what is this character that people are bringing
Like,
up?
yo,
I'm
it's Sackboy. She's like,
No,
"That
I
sounds
think the answer is
gross."
I think the answer is no.
No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to have another Sonic or Mario or anything. But
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference with Drake and the reason that I'm like definitely no is because the Subway things were more Uncharted commercials.
Sure.
Whereas like these other characters could be in.
don't get me wrong.
random-ass
I don't think they'll
things.
hit that, but I'm saying, like, that's the closest equivalent I think we have at this day.
Yeah, because I don't really think that there is at all. Let's see. Stuart Carson says, "What are your opinions on custom consoles and skins?"
I've talked about this in the past. I feel like I don't care what the console looks like as long as it works and it plays the games properly. So when the furor around some of these special edition consoles or these skins or whatever, I don't get down with that. I think the controllers are way more interesting.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't care. I don't look at my PS4. I'm not like staring at it all day. So it's not for me. I think the cooler things are like the old retro consoles that people go back and make. People are fucking around a lot with the NES specifically, and I think there's some cool stuff being done there. But in terms of contemporary consoles, like the ones sold out of a box from a brick and mortar or an online merchant or whatever, I don't. It doesn't do it for me.
I like them. It's rare that it would ever make me go do it. 20th anniversary PlayStation was the one that I tried to get, but like the Batman one, I didn't care about. I thought that's cool, whatever. When you see a custom, like it was at Kevin and I were at, Jesus fucking Christ, one of the PAXs in the last calendar year where we went to, and they had that. Remember the custom Fallout PC they had, Kev, where it was like all rusted out and had the Vault-Tec symbol on it. And you could
it was
open
PAX
it up.
Prime.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and like
really
that
cool.
shit's
That
cool.
was
I
fucking
have you talk about stickers. I have my Xbox One decked out in a Flaming Toast sticker that's all Mizzou stuff, and like that's cool. It's not like a huge deal to me, but I thought the Xbox One was ugly and wanted to do something different with it. When we're still working at IGN. Obviously, we had that Beyond 200 skin for the PlayStation.
Yeah,
3.
that I have on the. That's cool that I have that on the PS3 still.
Right.
And the one thing I like from contemporary kind of consoles is the stickers that we put over the touchpad on the PS4 controllers.
Oh yeah,
I have,
this Toasty
one of my
sticker
controllers
stuff
has a
for the
kind of
PlayStation.
funny logo, and one of them has a Team Fat logo on it. So I like that, but. It's not very important to me. I just want the functionality. It can be, like I've said before, it can be a cardboard box.
Yeah, I won't go and do
processor.
like the full Toasty sticker skin like that'll go over the entire controller. I like how the controllers look simple, and I like how it accentuated on the PS4 with the touchpad and the light bar.
Yeah, when I was young, I really liked the stuff. Like I remember with my PS2, I got it modded. Like I actually, with the different. It wasn't even just like a sticker; it was the actual different top and all that stuff. Most of it was for pirating, but it also had the second thing of like, oh, cool, my PS2 can be blue now. Like that's obviously appealing to me.
It wasn't even a thing. Like when we were young, it wasn't even a thing. N64, as far as I remember, was the first console that ever really had any option to do anything to it.
So many. Recently, I saw a picture from people that I think they were in Germany, and there was this like store that had every single N64 that ever came out, and it's crazy. They're all next to each other, and it had every peripheral that came with it or was sold with it. Because remember N64, like it had the color line at some point, and it was the system. You could also buy the controllers separately, and there was like the
color
7
controllers were like a
see-through
game changer. I
controllers.
remember that was so cool to get all those, and then your friends and I had a blue N64 controller that was my
It was
jam.
the
That's
fight.
all I played.
Yeah, I loved the purple one, that like the see-through purple one that they ended up coming with the system. That was my controller. I was like, fuck you ain't playing with that
The
one.
Pokemon Snap, I think, console. I think that was what it was. The yellow
No, Pokemon. Hey, you Pikachu.
Oh, Hey You Pikachu. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember that one being like, I was like, that's kind of cool.
That's
Remember-
the
do
blue
you
one
remember
with
Hey You
Pikachu on it.
Pikachu? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately,
That was a game.
They experimented a couple times with Pokemon on N64, like in an interesting way. Maybe not a way that paid off, but I appreciated that. Yeah, the custom console thing was like a later. I mean, there was iterations of consoles, but we weren't going to like buy like a special Genesis or an SNES or whatever.
Right.
Like that didn't exist.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 83 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys. Those are the coolest dudes of video games, and here we all are together.
Just stay in the fucking wide,
Thank you,
Kevin. It's easy.
And for all of you that have been joining us during the stream, thank you very much for watching us all day.
Yeah, thank you.
That was some insanity.
That wasn't necessary.
He's just doing to annoy us now. He thinks because he's been up for 46 hours, he can just do whatever the hell he wants.
Hold on. Real talk though. Thank you so much for everyone that's stuck with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you very
This
much.
whole studio is because of your support. So we
100%.
love and respect and appreciate you for that. Thank you very much.
Yes. So we're going to end the show right here.